It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams going to show?
50 Cent has been working on this documentary for almost 2 years. The footage he has is insane. The people he got speaking about Diddy is ridiculous.
All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all.
Now 50 could go against that by trolling him, by going and showing him as a police officer. You understand what I'm saying? Showing, you rapping one thing, you build your career off being a gangster, but you this right here, a young thug. You built your career off being a gangster, but we see you with a dress and a purse. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I can demean you, I can undermine what you built your career off of, and I can hit you.
It protects itself until it can't anymore. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Katt Williams waited until the very last moment to say what he did.
The docuseries is entitled Sean Combs: The Reckoning. How is this one different from the others that have been out there?
Well, I think that the biggest marker of what makes this film or this series different is how much time we took into putting into the making of the film, doing our due diligence to get the right voices, to the table, this is a series that spans over 30 years. So just by covering that much time, it took a lot of time for us to dig in and to kind of make sense of this story and to put this timeline together.
Yeah, and there's like some never before seen footage that I'm going to talk to you about in just a moment. But Curtis, people know about this very public, long-standing feud that you've had with Sean Combs. So what brought you to this project?
Well, I just want to make really hit television. I like the idea of it being exciting, and I picked this project and started working on it about 5 months before I found Alex. And I know that she has the artistic integrity that it would take to make it a great project, and there's the Quincy Jones era of production is find me that bass player because he's the baddest man out there in Chicago, and find me that keyboardist and fly them in from Miami, and we put them in and have the greatest jam session they ever heard, and it just always resulted in great hit music. And I take that concept into television production.
You take that into everything you do, sir.
That's right.
You really do. It really comes through, and appreciate that about you. As I said, never before seen footage of the days leading up to his arrest. Can you just talk a little bit about, was there anything that surprised you from that footage?
The footage, well, I think it's rare to find someone who's being, talked about all over the country. All eyes were on him, so to speak. And it was really interesting to see his last days of freedom, and what was sort of important to him. Obviously, there's phone calls with his attorneys, with his team. It was very interesting to watch a man who's known for his brand presence. He has a really amazing knack for marketing and all of that, and how he was sort of taking that into account and how he was coming off to the public, in the days leading up to his arrest and indictment. So that was interesting. It was also just interesting to see how laid back he was at times. But the footage also, in the footage, we also see how he's getting incoming, lawsuits are dropping, and to get his real-time perspective on that was sort of jaw-dropping when we first got our eyes on the footage.
Was there anything that surprised you when you were watching the footage?
No, that didn't surprise me at all.
Because you've known him?
Those behaviors, and I think it was surprising that he actually filmed.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that, because how did you go about getting the footage? And do you know the intent of the videographer, why he or this person took the footage?
She's a journalist, right?
Yeah.
So she's not going to reveal her sources, so you don't have to reveal that.
Not going to reveal my sources, but I think that partnering with someone like 50, it was very much in the universe as to what we...
Some took personal breaks, others shifted their focus to unrelated projects. A few turned towards spirituality or family-centered messaging. On the surface, everything appeared calm. Beneath that calm, however, it all felt meticulously planned. Hollywood teaches one lesson early. When a ship starts sinking, you don't argue about who caused the leak. You look for the lifeboat. The Katt Williams exit that followed wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, discreet, strategic, and clean. What made this moment so powerful wasn't who spoke up, it was who stayed silent. Those who once openly defended Diddy now avoided even neutral comments. For many watching, that silence spoke louder than any words ever could.
Hang on, what were you saying?
I knew Diddy when he was Puffy.
Okay.
In the documentary, there was insinuations of, that Diddy possibly had something to do with both Tupac and Biggie. And,
Who's telling the story, right? You can skew
People very close to the situation.
but you can skew. You can create any narrative as a producer and as a director and as a storyteller. I can create a narrative. I could be like, you know what?
You have.
I could create a narrative.
Well,
I could be
we see it all the time in reality shows.
Like,
nah,
reality
that's right.
shows.
Yeah,
That's how
you're
they're
still-
creating
you write
a
a
narrative. It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's true. I can get interviews. I can do this. I can get footage, and I could make you think this about that person.
Nah, for sure. Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So for me, I think, look, 50 and Puff have a long-term beef. It's personal. It's
Well,
between,
people are saying 50's wrong for doing it, but 50's right for doing it. It's divided.
it's between him and Puff. And before it's between him and Puff, it's between both of them and God. Just the way Puff is down on his luck and 50's kicking a man when he's down.
God has been...
If 50 ever luck turn up on 50, that you got to be careful what you put out. There's a karma to every action that you do.
Think we'll see that day?
Huh?
You think we'll see that day?
I don't think 50 does dumb stuff. He's very smart, in terms of his business. I think he already had his.
I think we already would have saw it.
He got shot 9 times. He paid his debt early. So that's why he's like, F it. But, look, this is between him and Puff, and honestly, it's between both of them and God.
Yeah.
So, only God can judge, and both of them people will have time to sit with God and talk about and through everything. And right now is Puff's time to sit there and have a conversation, a much needed conversation with God. And, like I said, I know his kids, I know his family, I know 50, I've seen Tupac and Biggie, both friends of mine, die for a beef. I think we all need to learn our lessons. And at a point, you're going to keep one up on each other until the beef gets so out of hand that lives are at stake, and that's when you've crossed the line. And at a point, now it's no holds bars and bare knuckle boxing. When Puff come out, he gonna probably have the 50 Cent documentary ready.
Nah, you should let it go.
Someone's working on it now.
No,
you should let it go. Nah, that's revenge.
I haven't seen. Yeah, but both of this is all. It's coming from a
it's
place
deeper than rap, I think, too.
I think it's personal. I think it's between them
personal.
two. I don't know what it is. I don't know what their beef is. I mean,
Marlon Wantz, as you listen, was one of the people who had long praised Diddy, but eventually had to change his stance. This wave of quiet distancing raised an uncomfortable question. If so many people felt the need to step back, what did they know that the public still didn't? The documentary also sparked another question that wouldn't go away. How did Netflix get such intimate footage in the first place? That question quickly became a story in its own right. Michael Oberle, the videographer who had worked closely with Diddy for years, eventually spoke out. He denied any financial dispute, explaining that the footage had been captured by a third party while he was briefly out of state. According to him, the material was never meant to tell this kind of story, and he called its use unethical. But intent didn't matter once the footage went public. It existed and it revealed something powerful people fear more than accusations. The loss of control.
For some reason, Diddy, around the time of his arrest, thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be exonerated later, so I'm going to film all this, and then I can use it in my big comeback later when I'm not in jail. Didn't work out the way he thought, and it turns out he went to jail for a few years. All right, he didn't get the full amount, but he still got a few years. And 50 Cent somehow managed to pay for the footage off of the videographer. Probably Diddy's worst nightmare, this. It's got to be up there. Now, we're going to get into what's in the actual documentary, and hell, it's something.
We need the core theme to be, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong on any front.
By the way, these conversations, the lawyer had no idea he was recording them. So when the lawyer's like, yeah, we need everyone to believe you did nothing wrong, it kind of takes away from when the lawyer is out in public saying, yeah, my client is completely innocent. And now he's showing the behind the scenes where he clearly didn't think he was very innocent. So not Diddy's smartest move. However, throughout this journey, you'll see he makes a lot of crazy decisions.
I don't think it's working. I've listened. I've been a superb client, as you said. I jumped on the plane. I'm coming to New York, but I'm just running around waiting for a shoe to drop.
He's shitting himself right now, in case you can't tell, and he really doesn't look good.
It's the middle of September, and there's still no indictment.
Bro, then you have to have a spokesman. You have to have some sort of comms to constantly be pushing that, Mark. Because you may just be a person that you just may watch CNN. You know what I'm saying? And there's 9 billion people in the world, and 7 billion of them is on Instagram and TikTok.
He's basically trying to get control of the narrative. That's what he's really worried about. He wants public perception to be, this was all bullshit. Unfortunately for him, we had all seen the CCTV of him beating the shit out of Cassie, so we know you're not a good guy, man. That's out there. A statement from your solicitor is really not going to change that.
We have to find somebody that'll work with us, whether they're from this country or from another country. It could be somebody that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business of media and propaganda.
We need to brainwash some motherfuckers right now, and we need people who are used to working with the dirtiest of dirty, because that's what he is, and he's admitting it. How could you let this footage fall into the hands of 50 Cent, my guy? And honestly, it always comes down to money with Diddy, because Diddy didn't get rich just because he was, clever in music. Diddy got rich because he robbed people all the time. And him not taking care of the people around him, it just comes back to bite him a million times over.
It's like we have a movie, you're speaking this language, and you know what I'm saying, we need subtitles. And we're not providing the audience with subtitles. Now I invited you to this movie, and you in this thing, you don't know what's going on. You just see you just see images, quickly. Now it has a whole life of its own.
I gotta say, this whole doc was edited well. When he said you just see the pictures and they cut to the CCTV. Well done, 50. You nailed that, son. If you're going to take him down in style. So you get a clear window from the jump here into Diddy's psyche. He doesn't give a about Cassie or any of these girls. He doesn't give a about anyone. It's save yourself mentality, and it's crisis mode. And you can see on his face, well, he's got a problem. This is at an all-time high of his taking, surely, because he is stressed out.
When someone like Diddy loses control of their image, everyone tied to that image starts to feel exposed. Control is the true currency of influence. Once it begins to slip, protection weakens. That's when people start moving quietly. They don't wait for verdicts. They read the room. And in this case, the temperature was rising fast. The documentary didn't just reveal events, it revealed vulnerability. And that vulnerability spread fear throughout the industry. By October 2025, the situation reached a point that could no longer be ignored. Sean Diddy Combs was sentenced to 50 months in prison for 2 counts related to transportation for prostitution. In that moment, speculation became fact and the story entered the record.
Sean Diddy Combs to 4 years in prison. He was found guilty over the summer on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution in connection with his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura and another woman, but was acquitted on more serious charges that could have sent him to prison.
The verdict changed everything overnight. What once seemed like rumors now carried legal weight. Defenders fell silent. Support vanished. Even those trying to stay neutral quietly stepped back. For those who had distanced themselves early, the verdict made their silence seem deliberate rather than suspicious. For those who remained publicly loyal, it sparked backlash. The industry didn't rush to react. It paused. Everyone waited to see what might surface next. History shows that when one truth goes public, others often follow close behind. This was no longer just about one man. It had become about accountability, and it made one earlier voice impossible to ignore.
Judge gave him 50 months, but you got to realize he already had 14 months in it, practically, and he's going to get credit for 2 months of that 14 months. That give him 16 months. He's going to do 24 months, which is going to give him about 30 months because he only had to do 85% in the feds, and he goes to probably a halfway house. So he got off like a fat rat in a cheese factory. But for a dude like Diddy going to jail and spending all that time, you know, I'm not saying it's going to be rough or nothing like that because his former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burrows, went to federal jail. You understand? Lil' Kim went to federal jail. So, you know, because the type of dude he is, you know, he'll make it, he'll be all right. And plus they gonna send him to a camp, bruh. He'll be in somebody's camp or somebody's dormitory, whereas that it'll be real light for him. So, you know, he'll see the streets back again in 24 months. He'll be out within 2 years. It seems like a lot saying 50 months and everything like that, but it's not really a lot, not at all, bro. It's not a lot at all. You know what I'm saying? I know for executive, somebody who's been a jet setter, somebody who's been going all around the world, been in all kind of, you know, stadiums, galas, and living in mansions. You know, it's a lot of people who lived in mansions that's in federal jail. You know, you got Senator Melendez from Jersey in jail. You got a lot of them in jail doing way more time than him. You know what I'm saying? So he'll be all right, man. I think that, you know, he got off like a fat rat in a cheese factory, bro. You know what I'm saying? He got off based on how the judge started the whole sentence. He was talking about coercion. He was talking about relevant conduct. He was talking about, he even said that with Diddy conduct and what he was doing, he should get a sizable sentence or something like that. You know, like his sentences should be a large sentence. And I think that, you know, 50 months, I don't see that as being large. You know what I'm saying? It's not even a third. I think the third of the guidelines were the probation report said. I think the probation report started at 72 months. So it's almost, what is it? That's like a 72 months, 50 months, close to not even a third. It's a little over a third of what the probation report said he should get. But it is what it is.
So you feel like he got off? 50 months wasn't enough for you?
Yeah, listen to me, man. What people don't understand is they look at the Mann Act as only being something about prostitution. There's difference, and if you read the Mann Act, it talks about coercion. It talks about somebody being beaten. It talks about a lot of different things in that Mann Act that gives people a lot of time, because you could get up to, I think, about 130.
As old clips resurfaced, attention turned back to Katt Williams and his Shash Club interview. What once sounded shocking now felt calm, measured, almost restrained. He didn't shout. He didn't show emotion. He spoke like someone who already knew how the story would end. Katt later explained why he named Diddy specifically. He referenced Tupac Shakur and how deeply that loss had affected him. To Katt, this was never casual conversation. It was personal. It was about principle, not gossip. He spoke about being invited to a party and choosing to say no. In Hollywood, saying no often comes with consequences. Katt accepted those consequences long ago. When the documentary dropped and celebrities began quietly distancing themselves, people realized Katt wasn't predicting chaos. He was describing human behavior.
Shay, yeah. I was trying to do something there that hadn't been done. I thought that I had figured out the algorithm mathematically, and I thought that I could show that. And when I wrote it out to the careers of the people I was talking about, right? But it was so vicious that I erased all of the knockout blows and just left the jabs, so that the comic I'm talking about knows that I know your real story, motherfucker. I'm gonna tell this, but you know what else I know. So, yeah, I was.
Do you want to tell any of those stories now?
Well, I'm saying.
Katt never provided a list he didn't need to. The reactions did the work for him. The silence, the distance, the sudden shifts. In an industry built entirely on image. Truth often arrives quietly but echoes loudly. One of the most unsettling aspects of Sean Combs' reckoning was that these gatherings were described as invite-only, late night, and intentionally private. Those who attended understood that simply being seen there meant being chosen. For some, it meant opportunity. For others,
Sean Combs gotta be the dumbest walking the planet, though. Why would he be recording all of that shit leading
How did
up?
50 get that footage?
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
I heard
so like the first 10 minutes, and it's like footage from Diddy right before he got arrested.
They said because Diddy was either shooting a documentary or had somebody filming everything.
Yeah.
So he bought the footage from that company?
That would be my guess.
That's hilarious.
That's what I heard. So I heard something like that. I don't know, but why would you be recording that if you did it?
I think he thought
he was going to get off.
Beat it, and then he would have a document of him overcoming the situation.
But showing what?
I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing like particularly inflammatory. It's just him going around the city and talking to his attorneys and trying to figure it out. But it's juxtaposed against. They have a lot of incredible archival footage. Like, they really spent a lot of money. And when you look at it, you're like, God, like, Diddy really has been in the press for 35, 40,
basically it's all life.
And they go way, way back. Like, I
heard they go back to the basketball game.
Before that, I mean, there's pictures of him in Mount Vernon. There's like a 5-year-old kid, childhood friends. Like, it's very thorough. I mean, the one criticism I've read, and I don't know how fair it is it doesn't delve into the victim's stories as much as it could, but I'm only 2 episodes in, and there is one woman in, I think, episode 1, and it's like a very emotional scene where she recounts some of the stuff that happened to her. Like, I think it's well done so far.
I'm gonna watch it this weekend. I just, for me, it's just like, I don't know why you would be recording that. 'Cause from the clips that I saw, it just seems like the highest level of arrogance, and it seems like he's just trying to manipulate his way out of this situation.
He talks about that on the tape.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Like,
this is how we're going to play the media. This is how we're going to manipulate the media.
What?
Wow.
Oh, but imagine if you're recording it thinking you're going to make the doc. He wasn't thinking he's going to put any of that.
Don't say that out loud.
It's like the book example. Yeah, it's all right if she writes a book because we'll go back and edit it. What happened is they recorded it. They probably thought they could edit it and frame it how they wanted to, and then shit fell apart. And I'm guessing whoever filmed it was like, well, he's never going to buy this footage from me because he's in jail now. And then 50's tapped in.
Oh, I have to see that.
But my point is, why would I ever be talking like that in front of anybody? Even if I felt that way, why would I be having that conversation to be recorded?
Well, that's one of the themes in the doc, is that at a certain point, and they trace it back to City College, because he skated on that, essentially, he believed he was untouchable.
Skated on Shine. Did they talk about that?
Yeah, we haven't even the first episode, it's still Uptown Records, right? And they have some really like crazy footage from inside the event at City College, which I've never seen before. And you can see him in the middle of like the chaos. It's pretty damning footage. Wow. And the case that's made is he beat that. He had no business beating that. The label at that time wanted him gone. Andre Harrell fought for him, kept him around. And then once he got past that, he's like,
I can do anything.
I can do anything. I just had an event and 9 people got killed, and I'm the king of New York.
Shit. I'll tell you one thing too, man. A lot of people saying, like, you know, they think 50's being vindictive. To those people, I say, you just don't know the backstory of 50.
It made them uneasy. Not because anyone openly forced them, but because refusal carried consequences, being sidelined, labeled difficult, quietly erased from future opportunities. This is where everything connected. The parties weren't just social events. They functioned as checkpoints. Once the documentary exposed that system, fear spread fast. Anyone who had been inside that world understood how easily their presence could be reinterpreted under scrutiny. That's why the fleeing made sense. Not panic, not guilt, but recognition that a hidden system had finally been revealed. The documentary didn't just expose one man, it exposed fear. It revealed how quickly loyalty collapses when power fades. Celebrities didn't flee because they were told to. They fled because they understood the rules. And long before any documentary aired, one comedian had already predicted this moment.